Hi guys, today I want to share some tips with you how to water your succulents and cacti when you bring them inside for the winter. One of the most typical things we hear when it's conversation about succulents and cacti is that they don't like a lot of water and that you should not water them much during the winter time. I'm not going to give you that advice and I'm going to explain why, because it really depends in which state you live, what's the temperature in your house during the winter time, how dry air is. In my work as a counselor, sometimes I have to assist people to recognize someone's emotions based on changes in their face. And I believe in the same way, our plants communicate to us their needs through the changes in their appearance. So I'm going to give you a few examples that I believe will be very helpful to you in recognizing what your plant needs. So here I have a jade plant that's has healthy, plumpy green leaves. They remind me a lot to one of the first jade plants I had. This is my third winter with succulents, and that was first winter when I had jade plant that for no reason started dropping healthy, plumpy green leaves. I thought maybe it needs some more water, so I kept watering it, which ended this plant really quickly. If your plant that looks very healthy, plumpy, green is losing leaves, most likely you are overwatering, and actually you might have even more serious problem that you might have a root rot and you might not be able to save your plant depending how much damage there is. So the best thing you can do at that time is maybe check if there is any healthy tops, cut them off and try to propagate. If you have leaves that are yellow on the plant or getting yellow, that are plumpy or mushy, they either stand on the plant or with time they came off, like this one here. That's also a sign of overwatering. Generally with succulents, if leaves are getting yellow, the plant is overwatered. So if you have plants that have shriveled leaves, or very, very dry leaves. I'm trying to bring this plant really close so you can see, because it lost a lot of leaves that were really, really dry. That is a sign that your plant definitely needs more water. This would be an example of a leaf that indicates that the plant needs more water. So if these three things don't help you figure out if your plant needs more water or not, the most simple way you can use is to stick your finger in the soil and check how does the soil feel. Or here I have a plant that literally you can pull out of the pot, and when I water it, the water runs through. That's an indicator of a few things. This plant needs to be moved to a bigger pot, needs more soil, and the soil is very dry. You can also see these leaves on this moonstone have shrinked so much a few days ago because I didn't water it enough. So here in my room upstairs, where the temperature is usually higher than the rest of the house, about 74 degrees, and very dry air, I have to water my plants twice a week. Sometimes depends on the plant. Sometimes even more often, depending how dry the soil is and how dry the plant is. So when somebody tells you decrease the watering during the winter, that rule wouldn't apply well here, because some of these plants, when they were outside, they were getting a little bit less water. So it's really dry here. It's really warm compared to winterizing your plants in the area that has maybe 50s or 60s Fahrenheit. Another thing that you should pay attention to is how you water your succulents and cactuses. Generally, cactuses and succulents don't like to have water sitting on top of their leaves for days. So I'm going to show you an example how the water can stay on top of the leaves and it may actually cause damage, and how you can remove it. Here is one of my succulents, Pearl 1 Nuremberg, that can easily have water sitting on top of the leaves. So if you accidentally splash the leaves like this, I'm going to show you now, and there is water sitting. It's gonna stay there probably for days if you don't remove it. I would use something like a paper tissue or paper towel and just gently put it in the middle. As you can see, it's gonna quickly pick up the water from the leaves. The other thing you can use, which I a lot of times use with crassulas or these other types of plants here, I just shake them gently and the water will come off from leaves. I am okay with sometimes giving showers to succulents, especially if they're in the areas like here in a very dry and warm room. So a few times during the winter time I will give them a good shower and shake the leaves so that that excess water comes off. I would definitely recommend buying one of these syringes because it's so easy to access your plants that are in the back, or if they are filling the pot, like some of my succulents here. It's so much easier to water by accessing these areas where syringe can go, but maybe watering from some kind of bottle wouldn't be as easy. Now I'm going to take you downstairs to basement where most of my cactuses are and few succulents, and I'm going to show you how I'm watering these plants much differently than the ones that are upstairs. So sometimes the needs of plants are different from one level of the house to another. So here I am in the basement. These plants here I don't water more often than once in 2 weeks, sometimes even less than that. And why is that? Because the temperature here is much lower than upstairs on the third level. Plants here have maybe 69 degrees during the very cold days, less than that, except if we're running the pellet stove, which is not very often during the winter time. They don't have grow lights, which also makes a difference with watering needs of your plants. They get natural light through this window, and even though it's a west side that's supposed to get decent amount of sunlight, this is lowest level, so it doesn't get a ton of sunlight. So I concluded that they do the best with less water, much less than the plants that are in the upstairs room. To summarize the tips that I shared with you about watering your succulents, number one, observe your plants, and if you have healthy leaves that fell off for no reason, you're probably overwatering. If leaves are getting yellow and they're kind of mushy and plumpy, you're probably overwatering as well. If your leaves are shrinking or shriveling and fell off, then your plant probably needs some more water. Touch the soil and make sure it's dry before you're going to be watering, and don't splash your plants except if you're giving them shower, and make sure that the excess water comes off. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe and leave me some feedback and questions. See you next time.